They call me many things: the king of cocaine, El Patron, a terrorist, a savior. You have probably seen the movies, watched the series on Netflix. You think you know my story, but you only know the legend, you don't know the man. To understand the fire that burned Colombia down, you must listen to the spark that started it all. I'm Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria, and this is my confession. I wasn't born into power. I was born in Rio Negro in 1949 to a humble farmer and a school teacher. We didn't have much, but I had ambition, a hunger that could not be satisfied by a normal life. While other boys played, I plotted. I knew early on that the system was designed to keep the poor man down. I decided I wouldn't be poor. I started small. Cigarettes, lottery tickets, maybe stealing a tombstone or two. Small hustles for small change. But I always had an eye for opportunity. In the 70s, I saw the future. It wasn't in coffee. It was in a white powder from Peru. Cocaine. The world wanted it, the Americans craved it, and nobody knew how to supply it like I did. I didn't just join the trade, I industrialized it. I brought organization to chaos. We formed the Medellín Cartel. We weren't just gangsters, we were the board of directors of the most profitable business on earth. I developed a simple philosophy for dealing with obstacles, be it police or politicians, plata o plomo, silver or lead. Take my bribe or take my bullet. Most chose the silver. For those who didn't, well, business is business. By the end of the 70s, I wasn't just rich, I was becoming a god in Medellin. Imagine making $60 million a day. We had so much cash, we spent thousands a month just on rubber bands to hold it together. The rats ate more of my money in storage than most men earn in a lifetime. I built my paradise, Hacienda Napolis. It was a kingdom. I had my own zoo with elephants, giraffes, and hippos flown in from Africa. Why? Because I could. I wanted to show the world that a Colombian peasant could live better than any European king. Well, but money wasn't enough. I wanted respect. I wanted love. In the eyes of the poor in Medellin, I wasn't a criminal. I was Don Pablo, the modern day Robin Hood. The government didn't build them houses, so I did. I built soccer fields. I lit up neighborhoods that had lived in darkness. When I walked into the barrios, they didn't fear me. They cheered for me. They saw a man who shared the wealth. This love gave me a dangerous idea: politics. I wanted to change Colombia from the inside. In 1982, I was elected as an alternate member of the Chamber of Representatives. I walked into Congress wearing a suit, ready to be a legitimate leader. It was the biggest mistake of my life. The elite, the old money families, they couldn't stomach a narco sitting among them. They humiliated me. They exposed me. The Justice Minister Rodrigo Lara Bonilla led the charge. They kicked me out of politics. That day, the politician died, and the warlord was truly born. They rejected my silver, so they would get my lead. Lara Bonilla was the first major domino to fall. When they cast me out, they declared war. But they didn't realize I was the only one with a real army. The biggest threat wasn't the Colombian police, it was the United States. Extradition, that was the nightmare. To rot in an American cell far from my soil was unacceptable. We, los extraditables, had a motto: better a grave in Colombia than a prison in the US. To fight extradition, I had to bring the state to its knees. I unleashed hell. If you were a judge who signed a warrant against me, you died. If you were a journalist who wrote against me, you died. We bombed the DAS building. We blew up Avianca Flight 203, trying to kill a presidential candidate. More than 100 innocents died on that plane. It was a tragic error in calculation, but in war, there is collateral damage. I became public enemy number one. The government was desperate. They were so desperate that they negotiated with me. I agreed to stop the violence, but on my terms. I would go to prison, yes, but a prison of my own design. La Catedral was built on a mountain overlooking Medellín. It had a jacuzzi, a soccer field, a bar. My guards were my own men. It wasn't a prison, it was a fortress to protect me from my enemies while I continued to run my empire by phone. For a while, I had achieved the impossible. I was a prisoner who was completely free. Even inside my fortress, I couldn't control my temper. I had some underlings killed inside La Cathedral for stealing from me. The government found out and decided to move me to a real prison. I couldn't allow that. In July 1992, I just walked out the back door into the fog. The final hunt began. It wasn't just the police anymore. It was the search block, the American DEA, and Los Pepes, a death squad formed by my enemies. They murdered my lawyers, my accountants, anyone connected to me. My empire was crumbling. I spent 16 months on the run, hiding in safe houses, separated from my family. They were my only weakness. On December 2nd, 1993, a day after my 44th birthday, I made a mistake. I stayed on the phone too long with my son. They tracked the signal to a hideout in the Los Olivos neighborhood of Medellín. When they kicked in the door, I ran to the rooftop. The same rooftops I used to dream upon as a boy. Bullets started flying. I took one in the leg, one in the back, and then the final shot behind the ear. Some say a policeman shot me. Some say I did it myself to avoid capture. It doesn't matter. I lived as a king and I died on my own soil, never in chains. My body is gone, but Pablo Escobar never truly dies.
The reign of El Patron was a bloody chapter in history, defined by ruthless ambition and staggering wealth. But his story is just one of many that shaped our world. If you want to dive deeper into the lives of history's most complex, controversial, and consequential figures, make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell. The next story is waiting for you.